For the last 30 days, I've followed Andrew Huberman's science-based daily routine, which is said to improve health, sleep and increase productivity. Andrew Huberman, or as my mum calls him, Handsome Huberman, is a neuroscientist at Stanford University, and he hosts the Huberman Lab podcast, which gives science-based tools to improve health. His strict daily routine has been reported to increase focus, improve well-being and increase testosterone, which isn't really relevant to me, but anyway. And the great thing is, most of the things in the routine are free. Let's see what this is all about. Huberman gets up around 6 a.m. and drinks a glass of salty water. Then he immediately heads outside to get sunlight in his eyeballs. I've been getting up at 5 a.m. for years, so moved Huberman's routine forward 1 hour. Okay, let's talk about this weird salty water thing. I think Huberman actually drinks an electrolyte powder called Element, which has sodium, potassium and magnesium in, but natural sea salt also works well. Adding salt or electrolytes to your morning drink, it's got something to do with the interaction of sodium and the brain, something to do with the neurons and ionic conduction. Basically, the sodium helps the brain wake up and function well. Put about half a teaspoon of natural sea salt in 8 ounces of water and, well, it tastes like drinking the sea. And I'm not sure if it was a placebo, but I felt good after. Before doing this experiment, I'd usually have a cup of green tea when I wake up. But doing this experiment meant that I had to avoid caffeine for the first 2 hours of my day. I'll explain why in a minute. So instead of my green tea, I've replaced it with another Huberman favourite, AG1, to see how that would make me feel. Told you I was going full Huberman mode. I grabbed my journal, notepad and headed outside for morning light.
The single best thing you can do for your sleep, your energy, your mood, your wakefulness, your metabolism is to get natural light in your eyes early in the day.
Getting natural morning light soon after waking is shown to have a positive effect on mood, energy, alertness, hormone balance, and it improves sleep. And the sleep bit is one reason I wanted to try this routine. I'm interested to see if something as simple as morning light really will improve my sleep, and I'll tell you that at the end. Getting natural light in our eyes within 2 to 3 hours of waking helps set our circadian rhythm. It's like setting a countdown timer. Light in the eyes sends a message to the brain that in about 16 hours it's to release melatonin and that it will be time for bed. For years I've written my morning journal in the house with my green tea, so this routine was a great reason to get outside early. When it's sunny, 10 minutes of morning light is enough. When it's cloudy, 30 minutes is recommended, but anything is better than nothing. And you could also take a walk, but I found sitting directly in the light much better. The only thing is, don't look directly at the sun and don't wear sunglasses. When it gets to the winter, I may need a plan of action, so I may do a Brian Johnson and get one of those daylight lamps. And if you want to follow along with this routine, then I have made a Notion template which you can download and you can change the timings to suit your day. So it's early on in the day and the routine was going great so far, until it got to the next part. After his fix of daylight, Huberman goes straight to work to focus on one task.
I do everything I can to not do email, not do social media, and to take care of a few critical tasks. I try and get my brain into kind of a linear mode. So I'm not necessarily trying to finish something in that time, but I try and do something challenging.
This part of the routine I'm really not used to. Sometimes I can be up for 2 or 3 hours before coming to work. I'm finding it a bit of a struggle. My body and my brain still waking up, but at the same time it's really nice to be tackling the biggest task of the day. It's just so hard to work at this time in the morning. But I only had 90 minutes of work to do before the next activity, and that's another reason I wanted to try this Huberman routine, to see if these science-based techniques would increase my focus and productivity with work. Working from home, making videos for YouTube, it can be tricky to stay fully focused and motivated all the time. So I'm using this routine to get stuck into a project I've struggled with for some time. A desert island survival video with 2,000 video files and hours of footage to organise. I wondered, would this strict routine help me get more done? I chose to start this project on my Huberman week because I knew that I needed that extra bit of focus. It's going to take several weeks to put it together, but Often the worst bit is getting started, and that's what I've done. Huberman recommends working in 90-minute blocks, taking advantage of our ultradian rhythms. The idea that our body works in 90-minute waves or cycles, where we get peak focus and performance, and then we get a natural decrease. And a 20-minute break means we can reset and come back to another 90-minute work block with just as much energy and focus. So there I am, it's not even 6 a.m, and I'm working on a project I've been putting off for 14 months. But that first 90-minute work block couldn't have ended soon enough. So now I'm ready for my next activity on the agenda: caffeine and a workout.
Delay your caffeine intake to 90 to 120 minutes after waking up.
I don't usually drink a lot of caffeine. One green tea in the morning, which has about 35 milligrams of caffeine in. And for comparison, a cup of coffee has about 95 milligrams in. And this is another reason that I wanted to try the Huberman routine, to see if drinking caffeine would increase my focus at work and also increase my exercise output. Huberman delays his caffeine intake
to 90 to 120 minutes after waking up
to allow the adenosine system in the body to clear. It's got something to do with when we wake up, we've got a certain level of adenosine in our body, and that needs to clear out naturally for us to wake up and set our energy level for the rest of the day. And this clearing process can take 90 to 120 minutes, and caffeine actually blocks that clearing process. So when the caffeine wears off, we've still got some adenosine in the body, we can feel sluggish, tired, lethargic. Some would reach for more caffeine to feel awake, and the vicious cycle continues. Did that make sense? When it's time to drink caffeine, Huberman likes yerba mate tea, so I went all in, full Huberman mode, and I bought some. And it's a kilogram of yerba mate. I didn't realise that the bag was so big. I hope I like it because I've probably got about 2 years worth here. Yerba mate is from South America and it has about 80 milligrams of caffeine per cup, almost as much as a cup of coffee. And it could be considered a better choice than coffee because yerba mate has theobromine in, which is the good stuff in dark chocolate, and it can increase alertness without the jitters of coffee. And it also has theophylline, which is the good stuff in green tea. So far I've drunk the sea and some grassy water, and now it's time to hit the gym for a caffeinated workout.
Because I like to be really caffeinated when I weight train. I like to listen to loud, fast music.
For an extra caffeine kick, I also popped a green tea tablet with 25 milligrams of caffeine in and was keen to see how the caffeine would affect me. This could go incredibly well, or it could go horribly wrong. Caffeine on an empty stomach. Oh, I feel really sick. With plenty of studies done on caffeine, it's said to increase muscle contractions during exercise and increase pain threshold, which can then lead to being able to do 2 to 3 more reps per set, which is massive. I was pumped to see if I'd get these extra reps. Huberman alternates resistance training with Zone 2 cardio, one on one day and one on the next. On the Zone 2 cardio days, Huberman usually runs and does this pretty weird, unconventional exercise, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Zone 2 cardio, you can do it running, cycling, rowing, jump rope, that kind of thing. It's where your heart rate stays in Zone 2, which is excellent for cardiovascular health and endurance. And if you don't have a heart rate monitor, a good indicator of being in Zone 2 is if you can hold a conversation or maintain nasal breathing. Huberman recommends doing 150 to 180 minutes of Zone 2 training a week. And then I heard Huberman talk about something called backwards hill walking.
Backwards hill walk.
Backwards hill walking. Yep, you heard it right. It's walking up a hill backwards. So I called my mate Ed. Good morning.
How you doing?
Backwards hill walking.
Backwards hill walking.
Because there was no way I was going to walk backwards on a hill alone.
3,
2, 1.
Backwards hill walk.
Backwards hill walking.
And we walk backwards on a hill. So why as humans do we have to consciously walk backwards and then not really any other mammal does walk backwards?
Yeah, why don't we just start a whole new walking sideways thing?
Actually, there is a thing about
is there a
walking
whole
sideways.
thing,
It's to do with glute medius.
There you go, see, look.
So walking backwards is said to be good for knee health, something to do with strengthening the quads. My only regret here was not taking my shoes off and going barefoot, and not wearing a more flattering bra. 1 kilometre of backwards walking. I don't know if it did us any good or not, but we had a great time. I think it was mostly to do with seeing the local farmer's face when she drove past us in total confusion of what we were doing. We've been spotted walking backwards. It's pretty unlikely that I will ever do this again. It's a bit whack, even for me. So a good alternative is pulling a sled backwards, which I did for the rest of the month. And now it's part of the routine that I was not looking forward to. The cold shower. I really don't like cold showers, but I love an ice bath. I prefer to just dunk straight in and get my whole body cold rather than the water hitting various parts of my body. Starting with a warm shower to get clean, I then turned it to full cold. The cold water releases adrenaline, which can then increase energy and focus. And psychologically, it can help build resilience and discipline. But give me a wheelie bin ice bath over this any day. Feels so awful and so good all in one. And I've got to do this every day for a month. And then it's straight back to work for work block 2. Another 90 minutes of focused work. No phone, emails or social media. So I leave my phone downstairs. And somehow this second block of work is easy to get into. I think because I've already started the task in my first work block and I've set the intention for the day, so I just pick up where I left off. I'm used to working in 3 to 4 hour blocks, Lex Friedman style, and although it felt good working in 90-minute sections, I was struggling to really drop into deep work and gain momentum. I also wonder how realistic it is for someone to do this routine who's in an employed job. Imagine saying to your boss,
yeah, I've just finished my 90-minute work block and I'm going to take a break now.
And then I realised this isn't about everybody living a life like handsome Huberman. It's about taking certain things to slot into our existing lives and our routines to see if it can help improve it. By this time I've been up for 5 hours and I haven't eaten yet. Andrew Huberman does intermittent fasting, which I used to do but not anymore. So for this experiment I just pushed my breakfast back 1 hour.
I like oatmeal after I train. Oatmeal, fruit, some fish oil, protein drink.
I'm on a specific eating plan, so I'm sticking to that. My breakfast is fish and vegetables. Do you want cod and broccoli for breakfast? And that's also when I get my fix of digital. And then back to work for about 60 to 90 minutes, and then it's lunch.
My lunch is pretty much the biggest meal of the day. If I have my way, it'll be a steak, a salad, Brazil nuts.
My eating plan isn't too different. I have meat and veg, and then it's back to work for work block 3. Another 90 minutes of undistracted work.
Some people might look at this and say, wait, you're working for an hour in the morning and 30 minutes here and an hour in the afternoon. When are you actually working? But it's really about the depth of the trench when you're working.
I know this isn't relevant. I've just got this new foot massager. So I'm sitting editing the video and having my feet massaged.
Many people, including myself, do need a short nap or non-sleep deep rest or other form of relaxation for 10 to 30 minutes in the afternoon. That is natural and healthy.
My fear with a nap is that when I wake up, I'm not going to want to come back to work, but I won't have a choice because I'll be following the schedule. So let's see how this goes. But this isn't actually a nap. It's something called yoga nidra, which is like meditation. It acts like a bit of a reset for the brain. I'd seen Huberman recommend this 20-minute yoga nidra on Twitter. A softly spoken lady called Lizzie guided me through a relaxation technique, moving focus through different parts of my body.
Letting go, letting go.
And after doing this for a month, I have not been able to make it to the end without falling asleep. I'm not actually sure that that's meant to happen. Today is a day where I really don't want to get up from my nap. I don't want to get up. I need to get up. I feel a bit groggy afterwards, but I'm surprised I can get back to work within a few minutes and feel refreshed. Perhaps there's really something in this.
That's the hardest part of the day, actually. And that's typically phone off and out of the room.
The final section of work, and now it can be a bit more scattered with smaller tasks such as emails and things that don't require too much brain power. Before doing this experiment, I'd do my emails at the start of the day, But now I realise I was using precious brain energy early when I could have been focusing on my one major task early on in the day.
It's not part of the plan.
Finishing work at 5 p.m, I do a 20-minute stretch session, and it fits nicely with the Huberman stretch protocol, consistency and frequency over intensity. 5:30 is dinner, which is usually chicken and salad, and then I pick up Huberman's routine again. Rocking out around the village in my hideous work from home clothes, I do a 45-minute sunset walk to get evening light in my eyeballs. And this walk has got some Jordan Peterson vibes going on as well, as I say hello to all the village cats as I go. Visiting the local wildlife, listening to an Andrew Huberman podcast. Like the morning light trick, the evening light has a similar effect on sleep. When the sun is low in the sky, called the low solar angle, is the angle of the sun coming in through the eyes that indicates to the brain that the day is coming to an end and it will start preparing it for sleep. It's a great way to unwind after a day at work, get some extra movement in and help digest my evening meal. And wait to hear what happened as a result of doing this. Doing this routine for a month was full on, and each night I fell into bed really tired, but tired in a good way. It's only 8:15 and I am so ready for bed. I'm a mouth taper, radical. And Huberman shares his tip on the best way to get good quality sleep. He recommends sleeping in a cool room on a cool bed. He uses an 8 sleep, which cools and warms the bed according to the body's natural sleep rhythms. This is a piece of kit I didn't realise I needed until I got one. And if you're thinking about buying an 8 sleep, use code LauraTry for $50 off. But you don't need an 8 sleep to optimise your sleep. The trick is to make your bedroom and your bed cool. This encourages the body to get to sleep quicker and remain asleep. Turn the heating down or off, open a window or turn on the air conditioning, pull back the duvet an hour or so before getting into bed, and that can make the mattress cooler. And hopefully this will increase your deep sleep and overall sleep quality. And with that comes marvellous benefits the next day. Then I wake up and I repeat the whole Huberman routine again. But did it actually make a difference to my work, well-being and sleep? And will I continue doing it? Check out my sleep score from last night. I got a 99. I got over 2 hours of deep sleep. As soon as I started doing this routine, my sleep scores instantly improved. And the days where I did everything by the book, I got sleep scores of 98 and 99. Who am I? Brian Johnson. And I'd say this happened mainly because of the combination of the morning and evening light and letting my adenosine system clear properly without caffeine. Each day had structure and it was non-negotiable. The routine said do it, so I did it. I'm going to continue with the salt water in the morning because it definitely made a difference. The morning light was like magic. Yerba mate caffeinated workouts definitely helped improve my performance at the gym. Undistracted work with emails at the end of the day were fantastic, and the sunset walks a total perfection. I can't decide if I'm going to keep working first thing in the morning and the yoga nidra. They both take so much discipline to actually do them, and I will not continue with the cold showers. No way. I've also done Huberman's sauna routine, which you can watch here. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.